Hey, what's up, Panther fans? It's your boy, the Professor, aka Tony Dunn, and this is the C3 podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. And I do it with my homeboy, Joe Riolano. How's it going, my friend?
Good, very good, Tony. I thank God we made it through the storm okay. Spent some of today out in the yard cleaning up all the debris and leaves and sticks, and it was a nice day to get outside, and I thank God that we're okay, and I pray for those who weren't as fortunate.
Yeah, remember, folks, you can text the number's easy to find. Just Google it. I can Google it right now, I guess.
Sure, 1-800 Red Cross, something like that.
Go to redcross.com, donate to them. They'll add it to your Verizon bill if you text the number. The very minimum, just think about helping your neighbor, even if they haven't been affected by the storm, because what I'm saying is that, we just got to remember that people in their lives, they can be disrupted at times. And the only thing you can do is give a little hand to somebody, you know what I'm saying? Make somebody's life a little better, if that's through money or prayer or whatever it may be. I'm glad that it turned a different way from me. You know what I'm saying? We've had our history with hurricanes, but so thoughts to Mel Mayock tonight. Mel's wife is in the hospital. We're very sad to hear that. So look, we're excited to have him back on the show. We get to go see him soon for a football game, but we know he's going through a hard time with his wife. We ask for everyone to be thinking of him. At least just send him a nice note on Twitter. It'll that's about as all we can do for people in these types of times. But it means a lot to people when they know that people are thinking about them. So we are thinking about you, Mel, and we look forward to catching up with you soon. Joe, tonight's show is Rusty Bonanza and Tatanka's return. We're going to be discussing the San Francisco 49ers, our opening game, a win, 23-3, the rout. I know you guys don't want to say that. A lot of people want to talk about how imperfect this game was, but we dominated, kind of dominated. Hey, we got to win, number one. And number two, there are a lot of good things to talk about. We'll be talking about a ton of that tonight. We're also got a special guest tonight, Dean Kundig from Dafttek.com and Bills Mafia. He's coming back to help us break down this Tatanka's return, which Tatanka is the buffalo, right? And I don't know if you guys remember Dances with Wolves or, right, Tatanka. Buffalo Bills are coming to Charlotte this week in the home opener. This is episode 17.32. We got a lot of fun things to talk about. We'll be breaking down the box. We'll be letting you know about our pick of our dab on them pick of the week, our player of the game. And we'll also be getting to a lot of fun things. We got ice up picks coming at the end of the show and cat calls. So a lot to talk about. Until then, guys, look, you're watching on YouTube right now, hit the like button. Go ahead and hit the share button, right? Share with a friend. It can really help us grow as a show. And make sure to participate in the chat room. I know there's a lot of people already in there doing that. So we have, and if you're listening later on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, wherever you get your podcast, be sure to subscribe. Consider leaving a review. And you can also go to the show notes and contribute to the show to keep kind of bringing the tech, and continue to deliver the show each and every week. It does cost a little bit of money for us to do this, even though stingy Tony has found ways to do it for the least amount possible. Things like electricity hits your computer, and now I got to ship it off. That's why we're going old school. So there are costs involved. We appreciate your help if you consider donating. Joe, San Francisco, the Bonanza. I thought it was a bonanza. I put money on the game. The line was 5.5 to start last week. And then it moved down to 4.5, indicating that people thought the San Francisco 49ers were going to keep it close. Wasn't close. 23-3. Could have been a lot more from both teams, though. Joey, how you feel about the opening game?
All right. First of all, great that we won. Always want to start the season off with a win. We won in convincing style. First half left some things to be desired, but we were pretty dominant in the second half, and that's progress. So that's good to see. There were some things that we didn't do well in the first half. I thought the tackling over the course of the entire game could have been better. I saw a breakdown of some coverage and some players getting caught out of position. Now, the Niners did come, they did show up and they did come to win the game. So they were putting, their best foot forward. They gave us their best effort. Some of that has to just be attributed to them wanting to win. But, I guess you come to expect certain players to perform certain ways. And even early in the year, week number 1, you expect them to be in mid-season form. And that's probably got some, has some of me looking. It's probably why I see some of the things critically like I did. But first and foremost, we won. And that's what really matters. I just think had it been a different opponent, someone better, would have been considerably closer, I believe. But thankfully
it could have been considerably closer against that opponent. You had Marquise Goodwin. That's what I call him, because he just let that deep bomb just go right to his hands like Zay Jones Jr. would have. And that would have put them on the 2. That could have been a touchdown.
Sure, easily.
You had another one where he missed it, where Hoyer missed him on that touchdown.
Yes.
You had another deep throw to him as well, where Kirk Coleman, with a real savvy veteran pass interference.
Dude, he was everywhere in this game. Kirk Coleman was everywhere.
Yeah, he was. He was a monster in this game. So there were a couple of plays that could have gone a couple of different ways that would have changed the tides. Likewise, there were a couple of plays that the Panthers left on the field that could have significantly contributed to like 41 points.
Right. They left tons of points out on the field in this game. I think there are 2 off the top of my head. And that brings me to another point. So thank you for sort of bringing this up. One, there was Greg Olsen was wide open one time, all by himself in the corner of which would have been the corner of the field. Cam would have hit him. He could have moonwalked into the end zone. He was so wide open. And then another time, Cam overthrew Dixon.
Ed Dixon.
Yeah, who was like, and I think there was a reason for that, Tony. And this is another beef I have about this game. Everyone was so excited to see McCaffrey in real game play for the first time. And I think that includes the coaches. And Schuler, I felt, was really trying to force feed him the ball, which, like I said, I can't blame him. You want to see what the kid can do. But I think that's more counterproductive than productive. And I say that because in an ideal situation, you kind of want the back to make his own opportunities and allow it to come organically from the offense instead of, him being fed the ball. You want it to sort of develop within the flow of the offense. That way he kind of gets a feel for how things are supposed to be.
Yeah, an interesting point is they fed McCaffrey a lot.
They did.
Right? It's been something a lot of people have commented on, right? I've been thinking about this in a couple of ways. One, I get obviously what you're saying here is that, you want to have a game plan come into effect rather than banging the square peg through the round hole.
Exactly right.
Right. But I do think there's some kind of different, some ways of thinking about it is this, and this may not be a positive necessarily, is that, and it seems like Shula and Rivera and the coaching staff has bought into Christian McCaffrey every bit as much as the fans have. You know, it's almost like a fan was calling the plays. Where,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like it was like McCaffrey. But you know, I mean that's either confident. I mean, that's confidence in one hand. You know, it's nice to see the coaching staff really believe in someone. They must really, really think that this kid is super special.
Sure, I believe that.
I think one good way, and you know, you're just trying to find a silver lining, and I'm just trying not to go along with everybody saying we overfit, you know, we just forced it, is that what if you kind of, it seems like this, one of the cool things you could do with that is that if you put that focus on to McCaffrey, you get the other team believing in it. And I wonder if it's like bait for later in the game.
Could be.
You know, where you get them so overcompensating and hyper focusing on McCaffrey. You saw that there's several plays that Jonathan, there were several plays in this game where
highlighted him, didn't he?
I did see they put up a story. I didn't get a chance to read it today, but you know, they even mentioned it in the broadcast that, you know, a lot of these guys get to do that were focusing on him. And then one that they didn't mention in the broadcast, I feel like if you go back and look at it, maybe I'm over, you know, wanting it to be that Russell Shepard touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
One of the linebackers drops in a little bit more than probably necessary in looking for McCaffrey. And then that really opens that giant gap for Russell Shepard. So, you know, I mean, I don't know. Are they overdoing it, or are they setting something up? It was clear they wanted this guy. They were going to get the ball to him.
Right. As much
and
as
I think, you know, the other thing is I think people think we forced it because it was way more than we expected, just period.
Right. And look, the other problem I have with this is when you're forcing it like that, you are cutting down Cam's field of vision. He's not looking at the whole field. That's why I think he missed Olsen, and the pass he threw to Dixon was high because he saw him late, because he was looking to get the ball to McCaffrey. So there's two examples right there of how specifically targeting one guy can kind of cause the quarterback to miss other open receivers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Here's Lynn in the comments. Meh, Tony. I think Shula didn't know what else to do but to use Christian McCaffrey is one of the comments there. You know, I do think this is that I thought, look, Shula, the first quarter was Shula 2016 Shula all over again.
Yeah.
But I do think that the play calls got better and more dynamic as the game went on. You know, some of this was in the early beginning was play calls. Now let's talk about Cam Newton, right? Cam Newton was off that first half.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think too, one of the things that you saw is that not only was just the accuracy off, I think he was getting, I mean, look, he was a little zoned in. Some of that was, I'm going to McCaffrey on this play. I'm going to Benjamin on this play. The pick play, he could have thrown the 9 route to Funchess on the sideline, but he knew this is, we're going deep. This is play action. I'm throwing it to Benjamin. And it was inches away from being a touchdown. What a fantastic defensive play. But Cam is a momentum player, and he has only played 2 passing snaps in the preseason and hardly any in training camp period.
Right.
I think that we can focus on him being off, or we can focus on in the second half how much more zeroed in he looked. And
Right.
I'm ready to look at the latter. I mean, I know that it's disappointing that we could have put up like 56 if he wouldn't have missed those. Sure, you want every offense to just be clicking, but there is an opportunity for your offense to play like this when your quarterback goes through training camp. You know,
Yes.
I mean,
You're right.
he's had shoulder surgery. I saw this. Is go check out Charlotte Vibe. They had Pat Coltrane. Chris had Pat Coltrane on as a guest, and he said, "What did you think? How did you think Cam looked?" He said he looked like a guy that just had shoulder surgery. And I was like, exactly. I mean, you know, is that look? I'm thinking this is he made all the throws, right? They went deep. They threw out routes, and those out routes got to have some real zip on the ball, or
Yeah,
else
you gotta put pepper on those.
yeah, they're getting taken to the house if they don't.
Right.
They ran him on the bootleg, which I think if his shoulder was really shady, they wouldn't do things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with that. So well, and you know, maybe this is me wanting to find the good in all of it when it comes to Cam Newton. But one other thing I thought that was real good is that look, did he miss some reads? Certainly, right? And Cam Newton has been known for that, for staring down a receiver a little bit more than he should, and some things like that. But one of the things I was impressed with is when the pocket started to collapse a little bit in the first, and he had yet to trust his protection just yet. He kept his eyes downfield.
Mm-hmm.
And it may not have worked out, but the very fact that he was looking downfield to me was a good sign.
Yeah, that's progress. You know, that's what you want to see from your quarterback. You want to see him progress and develop, and that is a sign of development. So
I agree.
that's
Slim J. Slim J in the YouTube chat says, by the way, that interception was not on Cam. That was a good play by the safety. It wasn't just a good play. It was a like they said. Yeah, it was spectacular.
Yes, that was a great catch.
But so I think this is Cam did not have a good first half, and I think we got lucky. We got a little lucky that we were playing the 49ers, that we were playing a team that missed on some opportunities, and then a team that just had penalty after penalty.
Oh, yeah. They were their own worst enemy.
Yeah. I mean, you want to say they didn't play well either. That's the other thing. And look, Hoyer dropped those damn passes in the damn bread basket a couple of times.
Yeah.
So we've talked about McCaffrey. We've talked about we didn't get to see one of the things we didn't get to see with Cam Newton all that much was a diversity of the offense. Like it didn't seem, I mean, there was a lot of McCaffrey, Stewart, different things, but you know, Olsen didn't get involved. You didn't hear Curtis Samuel's name, Damiere Byrd's name, Funchess's name only once. Russell Shepard did get out there. I would say Kelvin Benjamin was a couple of inches on 2 plays from having a really good day, though.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Let's switch, though. Let's turn our tide. Let's talk about this defense.
This is going to be fun.
Well, for us. Yeah. Not for Tyrod Taylor.
No.
It wasn't for Brian Hoyer, and it probably won't be for many quarterbacks going forward. Defensive front was pretty darn malicious. And the only downside to it, to me, there was one downside to it, and that was Mario Addison still isn't that great against the run.
Right.
You're going to see guys trying to run to the left side when Mario's out there a little bit. But KK, monster, Star is playing for big money, dude.
And you can tell.
Boy, he just is. He was a beast in this game. When was the last time that even as a run stopper, you just remembered him play after play?
Just blowing guys up. Literally blowing guys up.
Lynn says, pay Star. Junkie for Fame asks, when will Butler be back? That's a good question. You know, some people thought he could potentially play this past week. I do think that Buffalo is an option. I wouldn't be surprised if we hold off till New Orleans.
You know, I think that's not a bad idea. It'd be one thing if we were lacking in pass rush, you know, and didn't have the depth that we do. But since we do, let's not rush the guy. You know what I mean?
I agree. Okay, so and then what about this? Is Wes Horton? Wes Horton coming in there playing well, blows up Hoyer for the fumble.
Totally shocked.
He was all over the place.
Totally shocked. He had a great game. He had a great game.
We did a special with the guys from Under the Dome this past weekend, a kickoff weekend special.
That's right, on Saturday.
Yeah, and the Atlanta Falcons guy comes in there talking about how, I think it was the year before. I don't think it was this past season. Maybe I'm wrong with that. That the Falcons were training with Navy SEALs.
Yeah, it was 2016. It was.
Yeah, okay. 2016, the Falcons were training with Navy SEALs. And he was going on and on about how these guys are the toughest men in the world and all of this. Now they are pretty darn awesome. Like if you want to jump off a bridge from a moving car, or hold your breath for 8 minutes, or be friends with Charlie Sheen, totally awesome. But I did bring up this. You have your Navy SEALs, and we've got Wes Horton's dad, who was an American gladiator.
That's right.
That's right. We see your Navy SEALs. We raised you American gladiators, and we showed you on Sunday what that can do. What about Pep, man? I'm telling you this. Peppers looked to me like he could play 5 more years.
Oh, he did. I mean, I have to agree with you. He did. He just looked like not a 13-year veteran. 15. How long is it?
2001. 16.
16-year veteran. He did not look that old at all. I look forward to seeing him more. You know, he wasn't in for that many snaps, truth be told. I think he was in for less than 50% of the snaps. But when he was in there, he was productive.
He has this. All right, so here's a couple of things in the YouTube chat that got to get mentioned. Is what we saw is this. Adam Sanders said, after being in the Navy for 5 years, if someone says they train with the SEALs and aren't a SEAL, then they're probably lying. And I can see that. And Slim J says, Peppers equals Strahan. He's an ageless wonder. Right. And Panthers God says Horton had a good game-changing play. That's the truth. All right. So the thing with Peppers that sticks out to me with this is I feel like he plays defensive end differently than I've ever seen anybody play it before. And if he was doing this in the past, maybe this is why it got misinterpreted as him taking plays off. He doesn't come at these defenders just trying to blast past them all the time or blow them up. He almost comes at them like he's dribbling the lane. And like he'll kind of just give a light shove on him and he's looking to see what's going on down the line. And that sack that he had where he got a half sack that should have been a strip sack, but they blew the whistle so prematurely, like a dang teenager in bed with a dang beautiful woman, whistle blown just like that. Peppers, what he did is he didn't even look like he should have been involved in the play. He kind of just sat there, ran up on the ends, gave him a push, bounced back, and then ran all the way down the line and got in the play from a completely different angle. I feel like other defensive ends would have been out of that play at that moment.
Yeah, they could not have made that play. Yes,
it was like a patient play. It's kind of like this, is that if you were trying to get a rebound and you were trying so hard to be the one that jumped first to get the ball, and the dude that had some finesse is the one that always gets it.
Yep.
And I think that's how he does it. All right, another good thing too, Thomas Davis. Right. Thomas Davis, this linebacker core was pretty dang awesome. Luke Kuechly had an interception. He was a tackling machine. Kurt Coleman, tackling machine, even though he's not a linebacker. I do want to mention him because how hard he was thumping dudes. Thomas Davis, Coach Wilkes said, was running around like a 20-year-old.
Yeah, he was.
I think what leads me is we know what we got. Luke Kuechly's awesome. Thomas Davis, again, he's not slowing down, as Julius Peppers called him the heartbeat.
But I'd like to mention another player who did very well when he was in there is Shaq Thompson.
That's what I want to talk about in this, is that we saw a lot of Shaq Thompson early.
Yes.
Right? Less Shaq Thompson as the game went on. They went the passing downs.
Right.
That's what happens. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Is this going to be a problem? I think this is, as long as TD's playing really well, it's going to be tough to have them both on the field in clear passing situations.
Yeah, because you're going to force teams to bring in that third receiver with speed, trying to catch up.
It's crazy that we have that problem.
What a problem to have, right?
It is. It is. But you want to see Shaq Thompson more. But you just can't take Thomas Davis off the field. You know?
Yeah.
All right, I want to do this. Our guest is going to be coming in. Our guest is coming into the show in a couple of minutes. Dean Kundig from Dafttek.com, as well as Bills Mafia. Until then, guys, go ahead and smash that like button and share the show on Facebook, Twitter, wherever you share your stuff. Email it to your grandma and tell her it's the best show you ever listened to in your life. The other thing, too, you could do is you can go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com, consider buying a CamWow, put it in the bank t-shirt, because I'll tell you one thing is we put that first win right in the bank all the way ready to get this Super Bowl this year. And you can help us grow by just supporting the website and reading the stories and all that jazz. Joe, last point before our guest joins us. Coach Wilkes, first game as a defensive coordinator, went pretty well, I would say, holding a team to 3 points. Could have held them to zilch.
Yeah, really, you can't be anything but excited with the way he called that game. Not only the way he called it, but the way the defense responded. They were so well prepared for this game, and they knew exactly what was going to be required of them, and they went out and they executed. Outstanding job by Coach Wilkes. Really, really think he has a bright future at our DC.
Yeah, good start. I will say this is to be a little negative, Nancy, and this isn't about Coach Wilkes. 51 yards on the ground rushing. I think that was a little generous of a statistic, because I think that we actually got gashed on the run early in that game. The reason that they didn't run the ball more is just because they passed every down, because Kyle Shanahan called such an aggressive offense when he got behind. You got to You want to see that the better run stop. I think that I want to see Mario Addison a little better on the run.
It was
And you did
43 yards rushing in the first quarter, and then 8 yards rushing the rest of the game.
that's a hell of a change right there.
Yeah,
But Hyde was putting it to us, man.
yeah. Hyde was. There were several plays I saw him make contact and still gain another 2, 3, 4 yards. He's running like he has a contract to go earn, and I think that's exactly what he's got going on.
All right. Yeah. All right. We'll get back to a little bit more Panther news in a little while. Right now, we're joined by our guest, Dean Kundig from Dafttek.com, as well as Bills Mafia. Dean, welcome back to the show.
Good to be here.
So the Bills are 1-0.
That's right. First in the AFC East.
First in the AFC East. That's right. That's exactly right. When was the last time you got to say that?
I don't remember, which should be a good indication.
Yeah, really.
So tonight's show, we titled tonight's show Rusty Bonanza because the Panthers were a little rusty to start in our Bonanza in San Francisco. And Tatanka returns because the White Buffalo is coming back. And the White Buffalo is Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott, our former defensive coordinator, gets the game ball in his first win as head coach. And he did it with, I don't know, a quarter of the Panthers roster from last year.
Yeah. Mike Tolbert was probably the biggest contributor right off the bat when he ran north and south. When he tried to run east and west, the Jets got him every time. So
I'm going to tell you this, is that he is terrible. You're gonna like him for like this week, and then you already saw it. Now he's great on like little passes as a receiving back. You guys, your offensive line looked to have opened up some big holes for him at times, but he's terrible in short yardage, and he's awful as a blocker.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. Try to use him as a true fullback because that's really not his strength.
Yep. Right. They brought in Pat DeMarco to do the blocking. He was number one running blocking back last year. So they actually are carrying two fullbacks and then Shady McCoy, who's doing most of the work, and then Tolbert, if he runs forward this week, will give us a little bit of a chance.
Yeah. And he is good around the goal line too.
Yeah. Yeah. He actually scored a 1 yard touchdown. And anybody that was playing Shady McCoy to get 3 touchdowns in that game was severely disappointed. They had 3 1 yard runs in, and those were their 3 scores. This will be an interesting game. It'll be a different game. And I'd have a tough time picking the Bills, actually. I'll say we lose 3-2.
Okay. Defensive struggle is what you see.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got a comment in the YouTube chat that I think has to be read on this podcast. Ross Gould says, "Don't let Mama Tolbert hear you say that." Mama Tolbert came after me one day on Facebook for saying that he was soft in short yardage situations.
Oh my!
And she came after me, protecting him. But all right, so tell me this: is overall just what went down? You guys played a crappy Jets team.
Yeah.
A lot of good things, but I mean, you get a win. McDermott's first game. Tell me just overall, what's your impression of the game?
Well, it was the Shady McCoy show for the most part between the 20s. Tyrod threw an interception on his first red zone chance that went through Charles Clay's hands. But after that, he looked pretty good. The Bills outran the Jets in the first half, 110-11. And I think in the whole game, the Bills held the Jets rushing to under 35 yards. So we both had a very similar beginning. We were supposed to beat teams that we should win. That's what was happening. You guys did it very handily against the 49ers. And we had a little bit of trouble with the Jets front four. I think we'll have trouble again this week.
What weaknesses did you see in this Buffalo team out there? I mean, you're playing the Jets.
Yes.
You know, I mean, if you were going to ask us that, we're gonna reference Cam Newton, slow start. We're gonna reference the wishing that we could run the ball more effectively early on in the game, and some question marks in the secondary play at times at most. Right. Where are you seeing? Where'd you fall? Where were you disappointed in your team's play?
I think they were too unidimensional on offense. We got Zay Jones, like the FBS leader in receptions. They threw to him once, so there was that. They threw to the Jordan Matthews. He was our guy who was not playing on Wednesday but playing on Sunday. You know, he was. Jordan Matthews caught 2. So basically it was a very unidimensional offense. I think that you can, if you make us run right behind our right guard and right tackle, you will win. I think on passing, bubble screens will work against us. I think quick passes, that's what McCown did. He got rid of the ball in under 3 seconds almost every single time. And any formation that involves McCaffrey, I think you're gonna have a good time against us.
All right, we got a question here on YouTube. I think that's helpful for us. How those new corners look? Ross Gould asked. They lost. You guys lost Darby and Gilmore.
Right.
How'd the secondary hold up?
Well, Tre'Davious White, our first-round draft pick, was the PFF's first top-rated corner this week. He almost had an interception and had pass breakups galore. Our safeties both new, Micah Hyde from the Packers and Jordan Poyer from the Browns. Both had interceptions in their first game as Bills. I think the question will be is, do we have a healthy second corner, which is going to come in handy if you're trying to cover guys like Kelvin Benjamin, and is Curtis Samuel playing this week?
I think so. He got out there this past week? I think that what Coach Rivera said is they wanted to see him and Damiere Byrd, both speedsters, to be more involved in the game plan.
Yeah, they were minimally involved last week.
Yes. And we had the same problem with Jordan Matthews and Zay Jones. Both of them were I think minimally involved. We used our tight ends more than last year. Tyrod threw over the middle more than last year. He went.
That's not necessarily a bad thing when Shady McCoy is doing it. Like, just I guess save it for a little while. While we wanted to hear Zay Jones have 10 catches in his first game because I'm an ECU Pirate. We want to hear that. I was just stunned to see Jordan Matthews playing, though. Talk coming out of camp is like the dude was dead.
Yeah, right. Sean McDermott did a laying on of hands and brought him back so that he could play. I think sternum injuries are kind of a crazy thing. You know, you could have it. You could be bad one week, and then by by the time game time comes around, you're ready to play. He's a very solid. He's a very solid. I don't think he's missed 5 games in his career.
Nah, he's a big dude. He's not where he looks pretty big. You know, that guy, Jerry Rice's nephew or something. I almost called him Jerry Rice's niece.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Poor guy. Here, I think this would be fun. I think our fans would like to hear this. Here's Coach McDermott in the locker room after the game.
Congratulations, man. That's a team win right there. That's a team win. This is no ordinary team. Extremely proud of everyone in this room, man. Extremely proud. Extremely proud. Fundamentals? Yeah. How we win? Yeah. How we win. We don't care how anybody else's win. This is how we win, right? As a team. As a team. What we talk about at halftime, what are we doing? What are we doing? Winning. Winning. Extremely proud. Hey, stay humble. Stay humble. That's one. Right? That's one. Take care of yourself tonight. Win off the field. Win on the field. Extremely proud of you, man. That's playoff caliber all the way through, baby. All the way through. Only going to get better. Got a lot of work to do, right? Got a lot of work to do. We'll see them again in the division. Respectful in the media. Taking care of business in-house. In-house. Tyler, come on.
Wait, that's the delivery, baby. Many more.
Hey, real quick. I want to say this. As a man of faith, I promised God that if we won, or when we won, I'd praise him. So thank God for this. Thank God for you guys as a team win. Bring it in. Here we go. Let's go.
I was listening to this, and I'm going to put this up on CarolinaCatChronicles.com tomorrow. Had a busy day today. This is why this makes me just like McDermott even more.
Mm-hmm.
He did a lot for the Carolina Panthers. I think he has an opportunity to be a great head coach. I think there's some real commands there in the locker room. Dean, how's the response been from the players to Coach McDermott?
The veterans love him. We actually, as you might know, had a charlatan the last couple of years, Rex Ryan, and this guy has 10 times the respect in the locker room that Rex Ryan did. So that's a big deal in itself. But probably more than that, the switch from a 3-4 to a 4-3 is going to help the Bills, because under Jim Schwartz in 2014, the Bills did very, very well with a 4-3, and they ended up number 1 in sacks, number 3 in points defended against, and that type of thing. So it's sort of a return to that era, if you will, after this 3-4 interruption where we didn't really have the personnel for it. Jerry Hughes is thrilled. Shaq Lawson on the other side was hired for a 4-3, and he's saying, I've done this all my life. I've played a 4-3 all my life. I just want to get to the quarterback.
Yeah. Sean McDermott, go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, McDermott, you're going to love him. I mean, you heard right there. It sounds like that locker room has totally brought into whatever Coach McDermott is preaching there. That sounds like full commitment, all in to me. And I like the guy. I mean, frankly, I really like the guy. That wasn't the case initially. But over the years, I've seen him develop. I've seen him coach when there's some talent, and the guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I wish the best for him starting 1 week.
Week 3.
Yeah. All right. So, what do the Panthers? I guess we'll finish up with this. Is Joey? Actually, you ask a couple of questions before I last final question.
All right. We talked about Jordan Matthews, but I want to see what your thoughts were about the man he replaced in Sammy Watkins.
Right. Well, I think for the style that McDermott is going for, which is everybody buys in, everybody plays tough, plays hurt. You saw the example in the first week. Jordan Matthews probably wasn't 100%, but came back and played. Sammy was on his, I think his 12th game missed. So while being a Bill, so wow. He didn't fit. Reggie Ragland brought in to be the centerpiece of the to be the Luke Kuechly.
Yeah, of the defense. Yeah,
he was waived. He was waived. They didn't even get a draft pick for him.
Wow.
And Preston Brown had beaten him fair and square as the middle linebacker. So one of the things I could tell you though is that I still think that if you're looking for needs for the draft, linebacker speed is going to be one of the top priorities for the Bills. And they have 2 picks in each of the first 3 rounds coming up. Mm-hmm. Linebacker speed is going to be something you'll see on Sunday. Will be a vulnerability. They just signed today Jelani Jenkins from formerly of the Dolphins, I believe. They signed him. He wouldn't be ready for Sunday though.
But you're saying they signed him in an attempt to get faster at the linebacker position?
Correct.
Okay. What about Tony mentioned him earlier, Zay Jones. Do you see him becoming more involved in the Bills' offense?
I do. He will still stay on the outside. Jordan Matthews is on the outside now, but actually would be better. His most of experience is in the slot. So I expect him eventually to move into the slot, and one of the other receivers will step up, whether that's Andre Holmes or not. I'm not a fan, but one of the
Kalen Clay.
Yep, he might. Hey, where did we get him?
I don't know. From your farm system,
right?
Your North Carolina farm system.
Yeah. Who do you got now? Panthers keep rumbling.
Yeah, keep rumbling. You got Joe Webb, Mike Tolbert, Kalen Clay, Zay Jones. We'll go ahead and throw him in there. And didn't you jump up and get a dang lineman from us too?
Deion Dawkins?
Yeah.
How's he been?
Well, Deion is stuck behind Cordy Glenn and played in at the left tackle position during preseason because Cordy Glenn had a sore foot, and Cordy's not 100% coming into Sunday either. So that might be some consideration. I did a rewatch of the Bills game, and him moving backward to pass protect looked slow. So who you put on Cordy Glenn and who you put on Jordan Mills on the other side, the tackles, will make a big difference in how your pass pressure looks.
Glenn is your left tackle?
Yep, Cordy Glenn.
And that would be our right defensive end. Is that Pepper's side? I think that's Pepper's side.
No, it's Addison's.
Addison's side? Okay.
It might be more work.
You're going to have a speed guy against him.
Yeah, it's going to be a fast, quick guy working him.
That will actually be to Cordy's detriment because he'll have to move back into position fast, and that ankle isn't going to do it.
And that always poses problems potentially for penalties. Wow, did you see that alliteration? That was amazing.
That was wonderful. That was wonderful. Your seventh grade English teacher is very happy right now.
I'm you know what is I had a you know, I guess you're not really supposed to use alliteration too much in writing. Not supposed to overdo it.
Right.
In graduate school, I used it once, and it was nice. I got a compliment from my one of my professors, and he said, "I've always been fond of alliteration," and I still remember it. So I'm like always like, "Hey, let me drop 3 P's on you, baby." We're gonna drop 3 W's on you this week. No, the thing that I did want to Philly Brown, talk about this.
Oh,
I don't know. Atzilla H brought this up, and I was going to get to it. You guys took Philly Brown, too, who was another one, but you cut him. And to cut a wide receiver in your receiver group seems telling.
Yes. And it's a shallow group. If I had to rank them after Zay Jones, Jordan Matthews, and Andre Holmes, I think the next one I would put is Brandon Tate. But partly because of his special teams ability, and Kalen Clay probably after that. Walt Powell would return. He's got some speed. Walt Powell would return after his suspension, but you don't have to worry about that. That's 4 games out now. So,
all right.
Okay. Philly, I got to tell you, Philly's style. Was very, very similar to a guy, Brandon Riley, that we have on our practice squad. So I'm thinking maybe that they were looking at that, and Brandon Tate did the punt return, kick return stuff, and was doing quite well. He was, I don't know, top 7 in the league about that. So I think they thought him was an extra piece. That they could.
Yeah, he did that all last year, didn't he?
Yeah.
Tate.
Yeah.
You don't want Philly Brown doing that.
No, you don't. Sure. That's the last thing you want him doing.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Any last points? Because I do want to ask you this: what do you think the outcome of the game is going to be?
Well,
well, you said 3-2.
The betting line is actually 7.5, and I can pretty much guess that Carolina won't win by 7.5. So I'm gonna say Carolina. I'm gonna go 20-14.
Oh wow! So you're taking the Bills with points.
No, I would think it's going to be, yeah, I'd take the Bills and the points, but I'm not a betting man. My dad said, don't bet when you can't afford to lose.
So you're saying you think McDermott knows this team well enough to where he's going to put the clamps on the offense and be able to grind out something against the defense.
Yeah, maybe win ugly is our only chance. I think that this week, with because they're home, McCaffrey's going to catch fire, or Olsen's going to catch fire. You can't keep all of those guys down. So
right. Okay. Hey, I respect that.
Too many weapons. I'm conceding this one to the Panthers.
Okay.
Well, which is okay. I mean, it's on the road and some things like that. I don't think that you'll be able to run like you did against the Jets on us.
Right.
And our offense is far better than the Jets. The question is this: do you think that Tyrod Taylor can capitalize on a defense that has the only weakness is on the back is in the secondary? So it's going to be on Tyrod Taylor,
right,
to win this game. You said 7.5. That's a big spread to take. Your dad had good advice. I bet on the Panthers this past week and won. And I'm not a betting person because I don't have money to lose. And I generally lose when I bet because I secretly, even when I have money to lose, like, I mean, like if it's just 20, 40 bucks or something like that, I'm so cheap. I hate losing money so much. I think that the cosmos knows
that's right,
that I really don't have the money to lose, so they screw me.
There you go.
But I won against the 49ers because I knew it was going to be a bonanza, and 4.5 was the line. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And then people are like suckers were trying to tell me it was going to be close. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think on this one a little bit because I got a little credit with the bookie.
Yeah. Right. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Got a few little peanuts laying around, Joe. All right, Dean, tell them where they can find your work at, please.
Well, www.Dafttek with 2 T's, Dafttek.com. And I do all the editing, and I write the Bills comments each week. If you put Kuechly on McCoy and you have Shaq Thompson spying on Taylor, I think you guys will be okay. You'll be 2-0.
I like to hear that, Dean. It was fantastic having you back.
Thank you.
We'll
you realize all the crap I'm going to take on Twitter now.
No, you shouldn't. It's a road game against the better team. Is that, if anything, they should have just said that you maybe should have said you lost by 3. But I think that by 6, what'd you say, 7, 6?
Yeah.
20-14?
Yeah, don't bet on this game.
Keeping it close.
Right.
That's keeping it close. Yeah, I hear you. All right, man. Thanks a lot, Dean.
Thanks. We enjoyed it. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, fantastic. All right, Joe, let's keep going and rocking and rolling. I do, you know what, one thing, just for the sake of it, we missed this earlier. I didn't get enough time to do this. Let me see if I can take care of this. Is that we didn't pick our player of the game.
You're right. What is
it's called the Dab on 'em.
Dab on 'em player.
I just like doing it, man. Dab on them folks. Dab on them folks. And that dab on them folks. They like seeing it. Tell me what to do. Dab on them folks.
My player of the game is Kirk Coleman. Great thumping brothers. He's all over the place. Just blowing mugs up. Kirk Coleman, a 7th round pick. Journeyman. Just amazing. Back in his natural position.
Yeah.
Free safety. And boy, when the defensive line gets pressure and these run, look, Julius Peppers said it. Julius Peppers said what the defensive line is meant to do is to let these linebackers run free. And then I know that Kirk Coleman's a free safety, but that kind of attitude translates to the safeties as well, who become reactionary players. And he reacted. He blew mugs up all game long. So my dab on him, folks. Pick of the week goes to Kirk Coleman. Who you got, Joe?
I'm going with the man in the middle on that defensive front. I'm going with KK. He was in the 49ers backfield most of the game, just as much as Carlos Hyde was. So I think because he, he just was a force, man. He was a force. And because of that, he disrupted many plays, not just putting pressure on the quarterback, but just stuffing the run and redirecting the running back. So I'm going to dab on him. And my man, KK, is the award winner for me this week.
Yeah. Mel's pick, he sent it to me, is Matt Khalil. First game at left tackle, 0 sacks for this offensive line. He did get beat one time. That time. I think it was ruled an incomplete pass, I believe. But that little shifty 59 guy, he was like 5'11" or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he was giving people problems a little bit because he's so little. You know, he's a defensive end, I guess, or something, rushing around. But Matt Khalil played well for his first game. And against Tank Carradine, who's a fourth-year player, and Solomon Thomas, but he should play well against those guys. But dab on him there. And, okay. So let's see. Next in the show, Joe, we've got to do our cat calls, bro.
Oh, yeah. That's the new and really, I think it's exciting addition we have to the podcast, man. And anyone can do it, guys. Don't feel like only the most vocal of anybody can get on there and make a phone call. We encourage everyone that has something they'd like to contribute to hop on. We want to hear from you guys. That's what we're all about. We're about the fan. So if you have something to say, no matter what, get on there and give us a call.
I was a little disappointed in the cat calls this week. I thought we'd get a little more gloating in our first win from fans, a little more pep talk as the Bills coming up. But Mel reminds me, he said this. He said, Tony, people don't remember phone numbers anymore.
Sure.
So this is what I'm going to ask everybody in the chat room to do right now is pull out your cell phone, type this number in, and save it in your contacts. The number is 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. Plug that into your contacts right now. Because one day you're going to be driving in the car and it's going to come to you, a flash of genius. And you're going to need it to be heard among Panther fans. And you call anytime, 24/7, and leave a message. And you get heard on the C3 podcast. And it sounds a little something like this.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty you shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like...
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Hey guys, it's John Gillespie from Evolutionary Forces on the Fantasy Football League. And first of all, I want to say thanks for the podcast. It is awesome. Love being part of the community. But what I really want to call that and say is ESPN Fantasy Football sucks! I was wrong! ROPPED, wrong! Just like the American public in the last election. Wrong! Just like the Minnesota Vikings and Kurt when they had to give up captain and they took and paid money for Rimmers. Wrong! I was wrong! Oh, McCaffrey, I'm coming for you! What's up with 1/10 of a point? Come on! Less than 1/10 of a point! That'll be a tie! Alright, I'm just having fun. See ya.
Oh, hi there, guys. I tell you, it's your favorite guy to hate. This is Scotty Jurassic one more time calling. Hey, and I just thought it was so funny that you guys call it cat calls. And then all of a sudden, this Mario last week, he got so mad at me. I love it. Hey, I'm just calling, guys, because I wanted to keep pounding in the point. Get it? I just wanted to call and get in the point that you guys are not as good as you think you are. Those 49ers, they almost had you. But, hey, wait till you play the Falcons, the real team. We're going to take it to you. This is Scotty Jurassic, and yes, I will be calling back. Thank you.
Man,
that's the cat calls right there.
Relentless.
Relentless. What about John Gillespie losing by less than 1/10 of a point in the C3 Fantasy Football League?
That is enough to drive you mad.
All right. Hey, J-Dub, Call in right now. I got it open. Let me see if it works. We'll see if it calls live right now. We'll wait on you. He wants to keep the streak open. I saw him talk in the chat room. We'll see if it works. I can't promise it. The live stuff is Adam Sanders says that guy sounds like he is being tortured to hit puberty by his own soul. Talking about Scotty Jurassic. All right, here we go. Let's see if we got it. All right, you're on the air, J-Dub. Hold on. Don't leave. Where did it go? Let me change the sound. Oh, hold on. I got you. I got you. Go. Hold on. It's coming. It's coming. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. You're on the air. J-Dub, man. Hey, it's great to talk to you, dude. This is the first time we've talked in person, man.
Yeah, no kidding. I listen every week. I'm always calling in. I forgot this week. I'm very sorry, but it's good to be live on the air.
All right. Well, hey, hit us up. What you got for us?
All right. I know you kind of already hit on it, but the force feeding of McCaffrey, I think needs to be toned down just a touch. We want this guy to have a long, lengthy career. And my other little note, a big thing is I kind of saw some soft zone there towards the end, almost that prevent the win defense. And I was just wondering your take on that. Do you think Wilkes did a good job, or do you think they were kind of getting soft towards the end?
Well, J-Dub, let me ask you this about that is, you go into prevent mode, right? You want to keep those guys in front of you. Who I saw it with a lot, though, just in my first instinct in that is I'm watching Daryl Worley closely. You definitely don't want to let anyone behind you, but you got to use what worked the whole game. Yeah, and he's given up 7-8 yards on every play, it seems like, from the start.
Oh, Worley was giving up like a 10-yard cushion every play. I don't know if he's afraid of getting burned or what. I like to see him up on the line more physical, personally.
What do you think that? Why do you think we're at that? Like, what do you think that's just us getting, like you said, is that us being cautious, or is that something that is a little bit more telling of where we're at with this secondary?
It seems like Bradbury always stays right up and is right on the guy, or he's only a few yards away where he can still make contact after like the second or third step of the wide receiver. It mostly seemed like Worley on his side was the one with that benefit. And I think, honestly, if you want to do something with prevent like that, you just let him jam up front and put a safety over top, and that's good enough. You have a safety up over top on both sides with Luke in the middle. I think that would be just fine.
And that's exactly what
like 7-8 yards each clip.
I saw the corners.
Yeah, it's almost like marching them down the field, giving them an escort, like 7 or 8 yards of play, and you're in field goal range before you know it, or in the red zone.
My problem was they were up on the wide receivers, but I didn't ever see anybody chucking the receiver or jamming him at the line. They always gave him an easy release.
Hello?
And if you're going to play that close, you need to jam him.
You probably can't hear Joey. You can probably only hear my mic, but Joey was saying that what he could only see, he saw too much of an easy release from these guys rather than a good jam on that. So last thing too, what's the best thing you saw out of the game, J-Dub, and left you off the phone?
All right. My best thing, I think, is everybody on both sides of the ball settled in as the game went along. And we knew it was going to be a little bit of a shaky start with Cam, with the new defensive coordinator on the opposite side, with a rookie. He's not a rookie, but Pilardi's only like a second-year guy. I thought he did a great job. I thought everyone settled in as the game went along. And I think having that under our belt and playing at home this week will help out a lot to give us a good head start and hopefully get us to 3-0 when we go into New England.
Man, it was great talking to you, man, and we look forward to hearing from you next week, man.
All right. Love you guys. Keep pounding.
All right. Appreciate it. That's J-Dub, you guys, man. One of our best followers.
That was awesome. It's great having him being able to call in like that.
Yeah, it was great. So that number is 252-228-5098. J-Dub keeping the streak alive. Scotty Jurassic trolling. And John Gillespie getting in there. A little fantasy football grudge. Like to hear that. Joey, any last takes about the game or the game? Actually, let's do. One of the things we did talk with Dean a little bit.
Yeah.
About the game, but we focused on the Bills so much.
Right.
Quickly, let's turn our attention to the Panthers hosting the Bills. We do need to I do want to address J-Dub's question too. His initial question was this, is that are you potentially overworking McCaffrey and you don't want to wear the tires down to the belts
right
too quickly? I think it was, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with this, is that, you drafted running back. Let's run them into the ground the first 5 years and then move them on. Sorry. I know people are not going to want to hear that, but it's a running back but it's interesting. We'll see how the scheme changes. I think there's a little chess going on there, guys. I truly do. I think this is now McCaffrey is in McDermott's head. He's in your head. He's in that bald little Tatanka head of yours. And now we're going downfield to Baby Bird. Curtis Samuel. It's all the setup. Joe, what do you expect? Look, Dean was complimentary of the Panthers. I think he was cautious, and he should be. I don't think he needs to worry about taking flack on Twitter. You had a team that Shady McCoy ran all over. And by the way, did you guys see who the starting defensive end? I think he was starting. He was out there every play I watched. Coney Ely playing on the Jets, dude.
Yeah, well, that makes him like their number one defender.
Yeah, which is crazy. I mean, they have a lot of guys in the middle, right? Muhammad Wilkes and Leonard. Is it Leonard Williams that they took?
Yeah, Big Cat. Big Cat Williams.
But he's out there playing defensive end. I would be cautious being too excited. And this is what I would say that McDermott got a little out of control with his little post-game speech. He's like, that's playoff football. You were playing the Jets, brother.
Right, and it's only week 1, dude.
Exactly. I guess he's saying, I don't know what he was excited. He was,
and I think that's how it is. He's trying to change the mentality of the Bills team, perennial losers. And I think he's just trying to change their mentality and their expectations, and talking about the playoffs and focusing on the playoffs and setting that as a goal is part of that process.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so they're going to come in here. They're really what they got going for them is the run game. McCoy is nice. We did, as I think I saw this earlier. It was, who said this? That if Carlos Hyde got us for 45, it was Cody Lackney. We better be a little concerned about what Shady can do to us in a quarter or two.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to zero in on them there. I think you're going to have a much more conservative play calling from Buffalo than you would from a Kyle Shanahan type offense. What do you want to see from the Panthers this week hosting the Bills, Joey?
First area of concern, this is the area I want to see the most improvement in, is punt return. And specifically penalties. I think that was a real Achilles heel for us last week. There was very little production from the group as far as, field position changing. And when there were good returns or any return, it was always wiped out by a penalty. So I think that's an area we need to show dramatic improvement in. The other thing is I want to make sure our tackling is more sound. I want the linebackers and those guys to start wrapping up, not just going for that big hit, making sure you wrap up and get them to the ground. I think that's important.
I thought we played a pretty good game when it came to cleanliness.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but you saw the other team with all the penalties. I mean, penalty after penalty after penalty. We did have a couple of special teams penalties that took back 30-some yards.
Yeah.
On special teams, which really would have helped McCaffrey. How about that? Is that they're just putting McCaffrey out there? I mean, that's the thing. He's returning punts. He's catching the ball everywhere. I think this is that. What I just want to see. I want to see us run the ball better. And I know that, look, a lot of people have been complimentary about Jonathan Stewart. I thought he looked a little hesitant to hit the hole at times early in that game. I think he lowers the shoulder and gets ready to blast Muggs rather than trying to not bounce to the outside, but to cut and go. So I want to see, I don't know if that's a sign of him slowing down, if it's a mental thing with him just knowing that he hasn't had an offensive line to run behind in the past, or our offensive line not being great at run blocking. Because I will tell you this, is Matt Khalil is not a good, he's like Michael Orr 2.0. Not a good run blocker, really. Or not great yet. Then another thing that stands out to me is that our tight ends cannot block worth a shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Greg Olsen, God bless you. God bless you for trying. But you are not a good blocker. And then the idea that we're even going to try Ed Dixon out there and call him a fullback is just a damn joke. Sorry, it's just they're not good at blocking, and you saw that. You saw when they put some max protections out there and they tried to run the ball. It's Greg Olsen not doing so well.
Mm-hmm.
That's causing things to get clogged up a little quickly. I do want to call out a couple of people too on the radio. WFNZ kind of over. They wanted Christian McCaffrey, I guess, to have like 4 touchdowns in this game, or I guess a touchdown. A lot of people are saying this is that Christian McCaffrey didn't dazzle enough. I disagree. I guess, yeah, like if you needed him to be a star out the gate, like, and have a Kareem Hunt game, certainly disappointing, right? But there's 2 plays I want you to go back and look at that I think that McCaffrey brought something to the table that Jonathan Stewart couldn't. Talking about in that last 30 seconds of the first half where we marched down and we put up an extra 3 to go 13-0 into the half. By the way, kudos to Cam Newton for hitting Kelvin Benjamin down the seam on that. Mm-hmm. Kudos to Ron Rivera for not taking a knee and just getting into the half 10 points up. I was worried he was going to do that. I thought it was great. We got aggressive. We said, let's go try down and grab a field goal real quick. McCaffrey had a run down there around the outside and got out of bounds that made that happen on 3rd down, right? He did that again in that last drive where we were 3rd and 7 and he ran like a real football running back run for 7 yards and got a 1st down.
Well, he ran to the outside and beat the defensive end and ended up running out of bounds after he picked up the 1st down. Is that the one you're talking about?
That was, I think, going into the half, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And then there was another one in the 4th quarter on that last drive where we ran the clock down, where we were 3rd and 7. And, there's a good chance we're punting the ball right there. and he got a first down on a man run, and that gave us the momentum to run the clock down. Those are 2 run plays from McCaffrey that were just straight runs that were really important to that game. So I just want to bring those up because a lot of people were talking about McCaffrey was not all that he was billed to be on the radio this week on WFNZ. So
no, I think
my last point.
Yeah, that's not accurate. He was exactly what he lived up to billing. I'll say that.
Okay. Mel is going to be upset if we don't do this. He sent me his picks, and or he wants to. We're doing the picks in the division. So hold on. Let me see. What are the games we're playing? The Bills. Who you got? Panthers, Bills.
Panthers.
All right, Panthers for me. I'm pretty sure that that's a sweep across. We'll put it out to the can you look up his picks real quick, Joe, while I'm pulling up the schedule?
You got it.
And let's see, schedule NFL schedule week 2. We should have this written down. This is show preparation right here.
Okay, I got him when you're ready.
All right, he's got the Panthers, right?
Yes, he does. He's got the Panthers and Tampa Bay to win.
All right, so the Bears at the Buccaneers, and so he's got Tampa Bay. You got Tampa Bay at home?
I'm taking Tampa Bay at home.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty lame. Bucks all the way across the board. Way to keep it close, guys. Man, wouldn't it have been nice if the Bears beat them Atlanta?
Oh, yeah, they should have. So many dropped passes, man. They had more than enough chances to beat them.
I got to go back and watch that game. Saints, Patriots at Saints. Bro, if anybody picks the Saints anything now, I was wrong. I'm going to tell you this. I was 100,000% wrong thinking that the Saints were going to be better than people were talking about this year and that we had overblown it. Their offensive line sucks D so much.
They are bad, dude. They're bad.
They made Sam and their defensive front is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
They made Sam Bradford look like a damn look like Tom Brady last night.
Yeah, man. He was all world last night.
Crazy. I'm gonna tell you this is that defensive line is about to make Tom Brady look like Tom Brady. It's on the road for the Patriots, but give me the Patriots all day in this game.
Man, I really would love to pick the Saints here, and after the embarrassing loss, they're in New Orleans.
Yeah,
they're gonna come home and want to get the win against the defending Super Bowl champs. They're gonna be motivated. But, man, they were so bad. I just don't see any way possible. Plus, New England got embarrassed. They're going to be they're going to have a real motivated team coming to New Orleans to take on those Saints. So there's no way it's going to happen. So I got to go with New England.
Yeah, we're all just picking all the same games.
And who are the Falcons playing?
The Packers. This is the game of the week right here. Actually, it is the game of the week. It's an 8:30 game. That means it's Sunday night. It's a Sunday night game. The Packers, Falcons. Let me see what the line is. This NFL line. Go ahead. Who you got, Joe?
Man,
who does Mel got?
Mel has the Falcons to lose. Saints and Falcons to lose.
Why is he gonna say? Oh, I guess he just says lose. Like,
yeah.
All right. Let me see what we got here. ESPN says this. The line on this would be Sunday, the 17th. The line on the Sunday night game: Falcons -2.5. and they're at home. That's a pick 'em.
You're right.
I want to go back and watch the Falcons game. I'm just to make it. I'm going to go with Mel here just because I hate the Falcons.
I hate them
I'm going to look at Green. I'm going Green Bay here, but I do want to go back and look at that Falcons game. I didn't get a chance to watch it. Slim J says, give me the Falcons.
I'm taking the Dirty Birds, man.
You're taking the Birds?
I am. I'm taking the Dirty Birds.
I think that's smart. I think that's really the smart play. I just look at that score, that game against Chicago, and I go, why? You know?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the eye test, and it's like, wow, the Bears, a team that's really lacking in talent, or at least we think is lacking in talent, played the Dirty Birds extremely well. And I read.
I'm switching. I'm going with you.
I read that it was the defense that really let the Falcons down.
Really?
You know? That's what I read.
They only scored like 9 points.
Yeah, that's just what I read.
All right. Greg Craig says 34-28 Packers just because. That's how I kind of felt. I'm switching it. Josh J-Dub says Panthers, Packers, Patriots, Bears. Adam Sanders says no, Packers win. And Slim J says Packers corners are complete ass. I'm going to go Birds here. I'm going to go back and watch this game. By the way, I just got the Game Pass, so I get to watch those condensed games, and that's pretty damn cool. So I'm going to go back and watch that. I'll be interested to see what happens there. All right, let's jump out of here, Joe, with our last quick. We're way over. Let's get on up and do this. All right. Thoughts go out to Mel Mayock, who can't drop a couple of ice cubes in there with us tonight. Joe, what do you got for an ice up pick for us?
My ice up pick goes to all of the prognosticators that had already put the Patriots back in the Super Bowl defending last year's crown. These guys are so-called experts, and they supposedly know all the ins and outs of teams, and so many of them were just crowning the Patriots AFC conference champions. And it makes me so happy to see the Chiefs come out and lay it on the Patriots. I was grinning ear to ear while I was watching that game, just the way the Patriots were being dominated. So to all you people who had the Patriots crowned as conference champions and playing in Super Bowl 52, ice up, son. You better get tight and get right, because the Patriots have a long way to go before they get back in the big game.
Joe, I'm about to ice myself up because I had something here in the show notes. I got an email from Brandon Lewis that we have to talk about.
Okay.
Before we go, but my ice up pick. Yeah, it's I'm going to read it, but I'm going to do my ice up pick real quick because we're just in the segment. My ice up pick goes to Steve Smith.
Nice.
Sorry, his brother. Love you to death. But any of you joke asses that thought the damn Niners had a chance against this team is just looking for a reason to pick against us. This was clear. The Panthers were better on both sides of the ball. If Cam Newton had one arm and still was left, we should have won this game. That's why I put money on it. I don't even bet. So to all those people and Steve Smith, I say ice up to you and thank you for our segment, because you're the reason that we have it. And,
and that's why. And well, he's getting iced up because he's salty.
Yes, that's right. All right, so here I got this great email from Brandon Lewis. I hope people stick around just for this, and I hope he's still listening to the podcast. I know he listens regularly. Brandon Lewis wrote the C3 podcast, and he says, "Hey guys, I attended the game at Levi's Stadium, and Panthers Nation was out in force. By the way, Panther Nasty was there. He said it was hot as Africa." It was his exact words. Yeah, actually, I think it was. This is like Africa up in here. But he said this: "We put the 49ers so-called faithful to the test, and as it turned out, they didn't live up to their name. By the end of the game, it looked like the third of their fans at their stadium were Panther fans. Great job, Panthers Nation." He goes on to say this: "I have a question for the guys on the podcast. I felt that the Panthers' offseason moves were about becoming an offense where Cam was able to get the ball out rather than needing to run himself. And it seems like whenever I watch football, every NFL team except for the Panthers can almost always get one receiver wide open. It might just be the check down, but at least he's wide open and the quarterback has someone to throw to. With the Panthers, Cam seems to constantly be throwing to covered receivers. Are the Panthers receivers really covered? I don't watch the film. With a strong running game and some big targets like KB and Olsen, I would think they could almost always slip one guy open since the defense has so much to think about. Is this an overconfidence issue by Cam that he feels like he can thread the needle with the defender in the receiver's pocket? Or maybe Cam is overconfident in his receivers, so he throws even though the receiver is covered. It's frustrating to watch Cam completing only about 50% of his throws, and then you have much less talented quarterbacks and teams that always seem to find the open man. Is it just the reality of the way teams defend the Panthers? It seems like the Panthers' defense has long been content with zone coverage to allow short completions. They've had good defenses." While he goes on to say this. He did write back and say, I felt like that he said that he overput this on Cam and that a little bit, and he thinks that this could be the receivers not doing necessarily. But I think this is a great question. I really think this is the tough question, Joe. This is the question that nobody really wants to, that we don't really want to answer, right? I guess because you want to take the easy way out on it and say, hey, we don't have receivers that get separation.
Mm-hmm.
You make Mike Shula the fall guy. But I think there is a lot on Cam on this, especially in this past game, right? And that Cam gets a little zeroed in on his guys. What do you think, Joe? You think that where do you think that can the receivers do better? Is there something we're missing, or is Cam, is he really just not as good of a passer as we want him to be?
Well, Tony, I think the blame is kind of spread around to everybody. The playing a receiver is an art form. And it's more than just being fast and having good hands. Route running is probably the second most important part of being a receiver, other than being able to catch the ball. Because running good, precise routes, that will create the separation so that the quarterback can fit the ball in. And what we see in college as an open window to a receiver, in the NFL, the windows are like 1/10 of that. So it is on the receiver to learn the craft or hone their craft and run precise routes. It's extremely important. So you have that aspect of it. And then you look at Cam. He's been able to do whatever he wants on the football field since he was probably 12 or 13 years old.
9.
Okay. Been able to put the ball where he wants, based solely on arm strength, having no accuracy as a young man, just a cannon for an arm, so he can fit it in anywhere. And the NFL, the game is so much more technical, and every little aspect of quarterbacking matters. So it's been a difficult transition for Cam. You know, he's not able to physically take on the team and win you the game. I mean, he was able to do this in college. We saw this while he was at Auburn. He would take over a game and will them to a win. But in the NFL, it's so much more difficult to do that. And that is the area where he struggles, his accuracy. So I think, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I think it's a little bit of all of that playing into the answer to the question.
I do want to continue to build on this because look, there's people in the YouTube chat that are getting involved in here too. Brandon is that, and to give this to Brandon too, just to respond to Joey's point, is that he sent back a part 2 of his email. This is really thoughtful stuff he's throwing out there. And tough questions to answer. He said, look, answer. It's possible receivers are running sloppy routes and they aren't getting themselves open. He says also it could be that the coaching staff aren't calling effective plays. You know, and now this goes now. Well, let's turn it to Slim in the chat room. He says this. Look, he says Cam Newton needs a different offensive coordinator that would cater to his strength. I'll answer it. He says, "Give it to me." And he points to this. He said, "How come Olsen's still so good, right? If this is Cam being a problem, or being deficient, should we say?" I think this, though, I'm with you, Joey, is that, you know, this has been a lack of talent around him. This has been a lack of need for him to be more precise. But I have one other theory that's weird.
Okay.
Maybe being too big is a problem in the passing game. You look at tall, like maybe his arms and legs are too long, like a big giraffe trying to run. You know, like I feel like this is that, like, you know, when people say he's not good at short routes, which I don't think is necessarily true.
Mm-hmm.
But Cam looks like this. Like he looks like he has to, when he just wants to put some touch on the ball, like he's like, I can't move my arm because my hand, it's like a little golf. It's almost like Shaquille O'Neal shooting free throws. You know, where his size becomes a disadvantage. His, like, I think of this is like a 3-step drop for Cam Newton is like a 7-step drop for like for a 6-foot quarterback for Drew Brees.
Right.
I mean, like his foot, like his steps, like his throwing motion, his arm's so big. He's like this. I'm trying to throw it soft, and he throws a bullet. Right? I'm trying, man. You almost wonder, is that like where you see that quick foot dance? You know, where you see a quarterback like a Drew Brees when he's going through his progressions, he's not just looking with his eyes. His feet are chop, 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 chop. You know what I'm saying? Left, right, switching a little bit. That dance, like Cam, if he does that, it's such a big arc. If you think about too, when you're like, you need to step up into the pocket. If he steps up into the pocket, he's 5 yards down the field. So you just got to wonder, is there, and somebody said this, is that when was the last time you saw like a Brock Osweiler is like,
oh, he's the worst because he's 6'8".
He's 6'7" and he sucks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I think there's some ways, but I think that this is Cam Newton. He's like this pocket's little, man. It's little, and it's not. It's like a normal size pocket. He's just giant.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we saw Cam Newton deal in 2015. Cam Newton is going to be fine when you give him protection. We saw protection in this game.
Yes,
I think you saw this. I think you saw this, is that Cam Newton can be surgical. But I think, too, one of the things wasn't him just being rusty. I think he's having to learn how to trust an offensive line. And I think you saw a lot of that in this game, Joey. And that is, he goes, holy crap, the pocket isn't collapsing.
Right.
Like you saw him thinking, oh, shit, it's about, I'm toast.
Right.
And then he goes, it held. Oh, my God. And he throws the ball down the field. So I think things are going to get better. I do think this is that Cam's just going to have to get better, and it's going to have to come. I think it's a trust thing. I think he's going to have to trust that offensive line more and not try to do everything by himself. And when he does that, he tends to break down a little bit in his mechanics and throw off his back foot. And that's when things sail. But if he feels comfortable and can sit in there, I think he can be as good as anybody.
You know, another thing that doesn't get discussed much is route combinations. Certain routes complement one another. They really do. And if your offensive coordinator isn't using the right route combinations, it's going to make it more difficult for your receivers to get open. And you know, I think you said it was one of the YouTube chat guys mentioned Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen is able to get open because he's an extremely precise route runner. Extremely precise. So that's how he's able to create that space. But with proper route running and the correct route combinations, receivers should be able to get open.
He's getting Shula's getting trashed in the chat.
I'm not trashing Shula. I'm just saying.
I know I'm not. I think Shula's good. I'm on the Shula crew right now. I think this is that, but I think you're right, Joe. Is I don't think he had the talent to do that the last couple of years.
Yes.
And we talked about this in our show with the Under the Dome guys, is that you don't need a duplicity in the offense. You need diversity. And if the guys can only do the same thing, it doesn't really help. I think, though, that because Cam Newton hasn't had those, that he's going to have to learn. It's going to take a little bit more time, not only for Shula to learn how to use these weapons, but for Cam. You know, you saw him look to Benjamin and some other guys when Christian McCaffrey was open one time, or Greg Olsen was open. And then otherwise, you know, the opposite, he got it reversed a couple of times. The other hand, he's going to have to get used to having these options as well. And I think the more his offensive line does better, I think this is a real trust thing. I'm telling you, man, the more that Cam Newton feels comfortable and he feels like I got a half second where I don't have to rush it, I don't have to hold it to overmake something, but it's going to be okay. Let it develop. Don't rush it. Get down on timing. Go through that one more check. I think we get better. I think you see a big jump in Cam Newton this year.
Yeah.
So I hope we answered your question, Brandon.
And if he is able to take it one more step and say, you know, don't rush it, trust the pocket, look for that next guy open, and then it gets to the point where, you know, I'm not going to run, I'm not going to dump it out of bounds. Let me check it to my check down receiver. Let me get it to McCaffrey in the flat and give him a chance to make something happen.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's jump on out of here. It's 10:45 now.
I know, it's crazy.
What a show! What a show! Fun though, man. It's
very
fun
fun.
Talking about the Panthers.
And I'm sorry Mel can't be a part of it because I know he would have had plenty to contribute.
Yes, he would have. And you know what, though, is one thing is that while we miss Mel, one thing that is good to have back is football, man.
Amen to that, bro.
Football. I was watching football last night, and I was just watching football. My wife was like, damn, we're watching football. This sucks. And I was watching, and I was like, this is awesome. We're just watching football on a Monday night. How cool is this? All right, this is the C3 Podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. My name's Tony Dunn. here with my homeboy, Joe Riolano. Joe, tell them how they can follow you on Twitter.
Hey, guys, you can follow me on Twitter at Joe Riolano. I'm looking forward to this season. I think the Panthers are in store for some really, really great things. So, guys, keep tuning in. Keep giving us your thoughts. Man, get on that cat calls, people. We have it there for you. Let's use it.
Yep. 252-228-5098. We'll see you next week. CarolinaCatChronicles.com for all your latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. Peace out, Mel. We're praying for you, bro.